Security Council members should pressure the Houthis to extend the truce. The United Kingdom says Houthis' destructive behavior undermines peace efforts in Yemen. Houthi mines continue to kill and maim thousands of Yemeni children across the country. Welcome to Yemen Today TV. This is the English news with me, Shazad Delbey. The Security Council discussed the situation in Yemen last week. The Council members condemned the recent Houthi attacks on oil ports and affirmed that extending the truce is a stepping stone towards achieving peace in Yemen. Yet the Council members ignored to name the party that is blocking all peace efforts. This report has more details.
The United Nations Security Council members urged Yemen's Houthi rebels to renew a truce that expired on October and to engage in substantive talks to end the more than 8-year-old conflict.
In addition to the efforts related to renewal of the truce, I am engaging the parties not only expanding the truce but initiating discussions on a path toward a more comprehensive settlement of the conflict.
Hans Grunberg, the UN Special Envoy for Yemen, told a meeting of the Council last Tuesday. A 2-month-long truce was originally agreed on April the 2nd for Muslim holy month of Ramadan. It led to a drop in civilian casualties and some relief in importing fuel and resuming commercial flights. The parties renewed it twice, but it expired on October the 2nd, and the Iranian-backed Houthi rebels haven't agreed to extend it. But recent Houthi attacks on oil terminals and seaports in southern Hadramaut and Shabwa governorates have raised concerns of a return to the wider conflict.
Al-Sala have carried out attacks against oil terminals and ports in Hadramaut and Shabwa governorates with the aim of depriving the government of Yemen of its main source of revenue from exporting oil. These attacks, the last of which occurred yesterday in Dabba port in Hadramaut, have significant economic repercussions.
The same concerns have been raised also by the UK ambassador to the Council.
But we call for an end to the disturbing pattern of terrorist attacks on international shipping from the Houthis. The targeting of ships in the southern ports of Al-Dabar and Kenna poses a serious threat to peace and risks depriving millions of Yemenis from access to basic goods.
On his part, the US ambassador Richard Mills told the Council that the Houthis' actions are not those of a group seeking peace, and he urged them to change course and negotiate in good faith.
We urge the Houthis to take another path, seize this moment, and choose to end 8 years of devastating war.
Humanitarians face both money shortages and safety concerns in trying to assist the population. On her part, Rina Gilani, the UN Director of Humanitarian Operations, told the Council members that the humanitarian aid workers face great challenges in terms of reaching out to war-affected people, especially in Houthi-controlled areas.
Movement restrictions and an unacceptable level of interference. And again, the civilian population is bearing the brunt of these restrictions, not receiving the life-saving services and supplies they need in a timely manner. The vast majority of these taking place in Houthi-controlled areas.
In conclusion, one thing that the Security Council members seem to unanimously agree on: extending of truce can be the stepping stone to sustainable peace in Yemen. However, respected Council members should be reminded also to agree on another vital thing. That is, it's the Houthis who reject extending the truce, and it's the Houthis who refuse the entire peace process.
The United Kingdom said our problem is not with the Houthis, but with their destructive behavior. This statement was made by the British ambassador to Yemen to the Middle East paper. This report has more details.
The UK ambassador to Yemen, Richard Oppenheim, expressed concerns about consequences of the internationally recognized government designation Houthis as a terrorist group. He described recent Houthi aggression as terrorist attacks. He asserted that his country's stance was firm on Houthis' latest 3 attacks on oil infrastructure in Yemen. These assaults, according to the ambassador, are terrorist in nature. He acknowledged that he has direct communication channels with the Houthis, and he expressed his hope that the group would participate in Yemen's Presidential Leadership Council, PLC. Oppenheim affirmed that the problem with Houthis is in their destructive behavior, not in them being a Yemeni group or participating in government. He reiterated the UK's condemnation of their recent attacks on oil ports, describing them as terrorist attacks. Oppenheim also stressed the importance of maintaining the calm and supporting of the efforts of the United Nations envoy to reach a lasting peace. The British diplomat explained his country's views on many Yemeni files, including employees' salaries, resource distribution, the performance of the PLC, and the southern issue. He also spoke about the role of the United Nations envoy and what priorities Yemenis should undertake. Regarding the government's response to these attacks by blacklisting Houthis militias as a terrorist group, Oppenheim reminds all parties that the space for dialogue needs protection. The ambassador warned that the Houthi terrorist designation by the government may have ramifications on humanitarian access. Oppenheim did not hide his hopes for the Houthis to come around and participate in Yemen's PLC. He reiterated the UK's support for PLC Chairman Rashad Al-Alimi and the Council's remaining members. According to the ambassador, the PLC brings together all Yemenis parties except the Houthis. He noted that the PLC's strength, unity and stability is vital for the current phase Yemen is experiencing. He moved on to stress that the Houthis, who continue to refuse sharing power in Yemen, do not enjoy international relations. The diplomats explained that what the Houthi have are ties with some international representatives. He asserted that the Houthi government remains unrecognized. In his opinion, Oppenheim believes that the real question in Yemen today is how can parties share power and resources found in the country. For this reason, Oppenheim notes that the question of salaries of public workers remain crucial and can be a prelude for a solution to the issue at hand. PLC members have proven that they can work together even when they do not agree on everything. As for whether disputes arise among PLC members, the British ambassador affirmed that they do, but continued to emphasize that the coalition government everywhere suffers from differences. He, however, acknowledged that the matter is up to Yemenis to decide how they want to manage the situation. Oppenheim also said that Yemenis must decide on what political structures might work in future political settlement. Even within political parties, there is often conflict in any country on various issues, but they still work together.
A former member of the United Nations revealed that the Houthi militia oppressed the UN troops to regroup. The UN officials stressed that the truce came at a time for the Houthis when it allowed them to recover some local pressure by increasing oil ports. He added that the Houthis have attacked Yemeni oil ports more than twice using drones, and the U.S. Navy has intercepted a sailing boat on its way to Yemen. The parties to the mine ban treaty agreed to extend support to Yemen in the field of mine clearance. This came in a meeting of the parties to agreement at the Mine Ban Conference held in Geneva. In a speech, the director of the National Program for Mine Action in Yemen reviewed the difficulties that the country faces as a result of mines. Massam, the mining project, announced the seizure of more than 1,000 mines, unexploded ordnance and explosive devices in a number of governorates. Massam said that in the 4th week of November, it cleared more than 1,000 mines and 55 explosive devices. According to the project, the total number of mines removed since the beginning of this month amounted to more than 3,000 mines. Houthi mines have killed and maimed thousands of Yemeni children. Waddah is one of those children who became disabled due to a Houthi explosion. This report has more details.
This is how the life of the child Waddah Rabia has become. After losing his feet, he can't play anymore and his life has totally changed. Overnight, he finds himself drowning as a result of the disability that stole his normal life and future, while he's still at a very young age. Waddah keeps trying with an extreme strength and determination to practice his daily life, waking up early every morning, carrying his school bag, heading towards school, which he has been absent from for months due to his disability. He got disabled after being exposed to a Houthi landmine that took away half of his life in Ubaida area. His older brother is trying to teach him the lessons he missed. Perhaps he can catch up with the exams that is just around the corner.
وضاح كان يمارس حياته بشكل طبيعي قبل
Waddah was practicing his life in a very normal way, just like any other child in his age. He used to go to school, play with other kids and do everything on his own without asking for anyone's help. Now, his disability has made a lot of things hard on him. He's struggling to go to school. He can't play football with other kids like before. We're trying to push him to do a lot of things that he likes and encourage him to enjoy his life. We call on the concerned authorities to clear his area and all others from the Houthi landmines. I used to play a lot with my friends when my leg was well and healthy. But now, I can't get back to my normal life. I want the humanitarian organizations to give me an artificial leg.
The 10-year-old child Waddah is one of the hundreds of children whose lives were hijacked by the landmines planted by the tourist Houthi militia, leaving them with a permanent disability. Waddah was able, with the encouragement of his family, to overcome his disability, as he tries daily to get water from long distances to their home with his other brothers in a way that expresses the extent of his strength to break the disability that is trying to change his life. According to a local human rights report, more than 174 deaths and 508 injured people were disabled, including children and women who were exposed to mines during the years 2021 and 2022. However, there are still many mines still planted under the ground. Mines threaten the lives of many children. Many are still planted in residential areas and farms of citizens in many districts in Ma'rib, while the lives of hundreds of those who have been injured are now restrained between their ability to afford prosthetics and the restricted movement from one place to another on a daily basis.
أتكلم عن مديرية عسيلان خاصة وعن معاناته من الألغام في هذه المديرية، ومن أكثر المواقف التي صابتني أني فقدت أحد أساتذتي في هذه الكلية بسبب الألغام. فقدناه بسبب الألغام. في ناس كثير تأثروا عندنا في منطقة عسيلان، في منهم يعني تحاصروا ما قدروا حتى يأخذوا قوتهم لمدة أسابيع بسبب الألغام. كأن هذا مشروع انتقام من الشعب بأكمله، ليس يعني حرب بين جيش، كأنها إبادة، حرب إبادة لليمنيين بشكل عام.
Coming next in the news. A community initiative builds water dam in Shabwa.
ننزل ندي ماء من الغيل والغيل هذا بعيد، كنا ندي بالدواب نعبي ماء ورجعنا. ننزل الساعة 5 رجعنا الساعة 9.
ما يجي لنا ظهر لأنه زحمة ما حد ليه يخلي الجهل يغرق، وإحنا تعبنا زيادة.
وكنت أحس صدري يوجعني وعز قدرك ركبي يوجعيني.
كنا بنستخدم حتى نغسل أولادنا يعني بأيام معدودة. كنت أغيب على المدرسة لأن كنت أروح الديمة.
حتى وإن كان يجي الأمطار تروح هدن لأنه ما في معيار الزمن.
الوقت نشتري ب30,000 هي مع هستيلك ما يغلقش معها الشهر.
بس راح تطلب الله ولا أي حاجة، عاملة كل شغلك الماء.
Welcome back. Ukraine has announced that it would send additional aid to some countries, including Yemen. This comes amid alarming UN reports that warn against food insecurity in Yemen, describing it as unprecedented. This report has more details.
Yemen has been racked by almost 8 years of war. The country of some 30 million people imports most of its food from foreign countries. Yemen is facing a foreign reserve shortage and a serious devaluation of the currency in some regions. The vice chairman of the Federation of Yemen Chamber of Commerce and Industry stated that Local traders are also struggling to import flour, rice, sugar, and petroleum products due to high prices. Disruption to global wheat supplies due to the Ukraine war and a wheat export ban by India risk deepening Yemen's hunger crisis. The Ukrainian president has recently launched the Grain from Ukraine program, a plan to export grain to the poorest countries in Africa. The president announced that they are planning to send at least 60 ships from Ukrainian ports to the countries most threatened by famine and drought. $150 million have been raised from more than 20 countries in the European Union to export to Ethiopia, Sudan, South Sudan, Somalia, and Yemen. Emmanuel Macron promised €6 million in additional aid for Ukrainian grain exports, which are vital for supplying many African and Asian countries. This comes at a time when the World Food Programme has been reducing food rations in Yemen, where millions face hunger due to critical funding gaps, global inflation, and knock-on effects of the Ukraine conflict. Widespread poverty exposed large segments of the Yemeni population to unprecedented levels of food insecurity, malnutrition, and diseases. As long as the war continues and the health troubles are in rule, they will keep getting worse.
The Minister of Water and Environment discussed with a German organization the failure to implement the $30 million project. The project aimed to raise the efficiency of the treatment plant for Sana'a, funded by the Arab Fund for Economic and Social Development. In the meeting, the minister pointed out that this project is one of the stalled projects since 2014, stressing the need to put in place the necessary solutions to close this file. Morocco has won against Belgium in Qatar World Cup 2022. This result qualifies Morocco to get advanced to the 16th group among the qualified countries in Qatar. The Moroccan team has won with a 2-0, which enhances its opportunity in qualifications for other matches. The Yemeni rial recorded a rapid improvement against foreign currencies in areas controlled by the government. Banking sources said that the exchange rate of the Yemeni rial recorded an improvement by breaking 1,000 rials down to less than 300 rials against the Saudi rial. This comes at a time when the central bank leadership and the Saudi side to sign on Sunday arrangement of the Saudi deposit. The domestic gas crisis has been relieved in Shabwa. This came after the governorate has witnessed a suffocating crisis in the past few days. Local residents reported that the gas cylinders are now available in the markets for citizens. In Shabwa, a community initiative to complete construction work on a water dam was started. According to local citizens, the water dam will ease out their long suffering with having access to drinking water. This report has more details.
It's said that when there is a well, there is a way. The people of Jardan district in Shabwa Governorate implemented an initiative to establish one of the largest water dams in Yathuf area at a financial cost of more than 150 million riyals at the expenses of charity.
We have reached this stage of the dam construction after great suffering that our people went through. Last year, the people were climbing mountains in order to get water, and it was a hard process. And the price of some liters of water reached 30,000 riyals.
Those in charge of this vital and important project emphasized that the Al-Mulhaq Dam project still needs the financial support to cover the requirements of building a side wall of the dam, purchasing and installing a water drainage network, appealing at the same time to the local authority, concerned organizations, and those who are able to provide support to help complete this project, which will alleviate the suffering of thousands of the citizens.
Al-Mulhaq Dam construction work is full swing, and the financial support is important to complete this project, to build the water channels and reinforcing bridge.
The residents of most areas in Jardan Valley hope that the dam will end their long suffering as a result of drinking water crisis in their areas, as this project was a dream of all the citizens, young and old. Due to determination, will and cooperation, this project turned from dream into a reality.
Here's a reminder of the main headlines. Security Council members should pressure the Houthis to extend the truce. The United Kingdom says Houthis' destructive behavior undermines peace efforts in Yemen. Houthi mines continue to kill and maim thousands of Yemeni children across the country. This is the end of the news. Thank you for watching.